Honourable member for Saskatoon West.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to join with First Nations women's groups across Canada and First Nations women to once again call on this government to end gender discrimination in the Indian Act. For decades, the Government of Canada has been causing undue harm to First Nations women by removing or denying their status simply because they are First Nations, simply because they are not First Nations men. This past January, the United Nations Human Rights Committee said that Canada is still discriminating against First Nations women and their descendants by denying First Nations women the same entitlements under the Indian Act as First Nations men. This discrimination causes women to be disconnected from their communities, breaks up families, and causes greater disparity in the rights and benefits between First Nations women and men. It is beyond time for this government to act on the calls from First Nations women and the organizations they represent. I call on the government to act immediately on Bill S3 and do everything within their power to end the discrimination against First Nations women in Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable member for Malpeque.